One and all to the K.O.E. Nation, folks. I am your King of Extreme, Phil K.O.E. You can find me at K.O.E. Nation on YouTube, K.O.E. Nation on TikTok, K.O.E. Nation on Twitch, and we have some amazing K.O.E. content coming to you from one of the many friends and denizens of the K.O.E. Nation. So, folks, without further ado, let's not keep you waiting any longer.
Welcome, everybody. I am Tony fucking G, your prince and potato of the political prowess of standing in. It doesn't matter. Anyway, I'm Tony fucking G. I'm a damn handsome man, too. This is the KOE Nation. This is a Spirits Review. And I am joined by the one, the only, the
reigning, defending, undisputed, revolutionary wrestling podcast champion, Chicken. How you guys doing tonight? Appreciate you having me on, Tony. I'm excited. We loved Heaven's Door.
Yes,
we got three more.
Here's the thing, folks. We started off our journey, and we are. He's not here, but we are shy a Phil K.O.E. We are shy a King of Extreme, but nonetheless, we will trudge forward. And we did try Heaven's Door for the first time, all three of us together, with a beautiful store pick. I'm going to get it out real quick.
Yeah. I love it.
I've actually put a hurting on this bottle. Like, I was shocked how good this was. This is a Heaven's Door single barrel cask strength bourbon. This is 123 proof. This is one of the only whiskeys that I was like, my God, is that spicy? And I put it over ice, and this thing blew wide.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, so good. So much caramel. Beautiful bourbon. Pretty sad that this was a limited run, because this is really good. But we never got to jump in to the base line, and that's what we've got here, folks. We've got the bourbon, we've got the double barrel, and we've got the rye. So, tonight we're going to try the base offering of the Heaven's Door bourbon whiskey. And this is a unique one. This is a Tennessee bourbon, okay? Made in Nashville. This is Bob Dylan's distillery. So this has got a celebrity gimmick. This is a non-Kentucky bourbon. It is a Tennessee bourbon, which is even stranger to come by. So I'm pretty anxious to try this one. And I'll be honest, folks. We talked about this a few weeks ago because I was super excited to try these samples because I was going to be going to Nashville, Tennessee. I made it to Nashville, Tennessee. Before we get into this, let's do our cork pop first. This is a sampler pack with the three. And it's got 3 200 milliliter little sample bottles. Let's bust this plastic off real quick so we can get
I got so much plastic on my bar from tonight.
Not too much plastic on here, just enough. Okay, all right. Okay, maybe I spoke too soon. There's a lot of plastic on here for a 200 milliliter. All right, 3, 2, 1, go.
Not bad.
Not bad. Oh, okay, I kind of like that. All right. Pour ourselves a sample of this.
Again, doing the straight bourbon whiskey. This is a 92 proof, 46 ABV.
Not bad. Not bad. We wanted to create a collection of American whiskey that, in their own way, tells a story. Bob Dylan. So, first and foremost, I kind of made it a point to myself. I'm going to Nashville. I gotta see this thing. I gotta see this distillery because this, as you can see behind us, this is an old church converted into a distillery. Hence, Heaven's Door. Unfortunately, it's not exactly open to the public. Let me preface that with, it's not exactly open. On our third day in Nashville, we happened to go into a place called Honky Tonk Central. It's a 3-story honky tonk bar with 3 different bands on 3 different levels. We made it to level 1 and found one of the locals who proceeded to buy me drinks for the next 3 hours. I drank a lot of Tennessee whiskey in those 3 hours. And by the time we left the bar, I'm like, okay, we're going to stop at this Evans door on the way back to the hotel to change. And then we're going to go to a liquor store. And then we're going to go to the motel. This Uber gets us to the distillery, and there are 2 homeless people sitting on the steps. And he goes, yeah, guys, I'm not going to drop you off here. And I went, that's fair. Never mind. So we didn't get to stop at Heaven's Door
experience.
Distillery. It was a beautiful experience. Nashville's amazing. I cannot undersell it enough. Cannot wait to go back. Very rarely would myself or my wife go, let's go back immediately. But yeah, Nashville's definitely one of those. Hopefully when we do, the distillery itself will be fully functional and operational and open to the public, because I'm super excited to tour this thing. So, you sampled the nose already. What are you thinking?
Oh, it's just incredible right off the bat.
Yeah,
you get
I
the oak
agree.
and some vanilla.
Vanilla's heavy. Vanilla extract is heavy on the nose for me. You get the oak. This is a standard bourbon feel on the nose. I'm already enjoying it.
The vanilla is super heavy right off the bat.
Love that.
And it's pleasant too. It's not like sometimes when you smell vanilla, you're like, ooh, this is gonna taste like. But no, this is a pleasant amount of vanilla.
Yeah, and at 92 proof, it's not offensive at all on the nose so far. So, without further ado, Okay. Okay. I can.
There's a little butter and oil at the end.
That's interesting because. Oh wow. Okay. You're right. Yeah, it's got it's a tackiness to it.
Yeah, it's like butter.
Yeah.
Something. Butter's on something. Not toast. Kind of like toast.
Okay. I'm
like a biscuit.
Yeah, like a cinnamon toast piece of bread that you'd have for breakfast. This is really, really nice. This is definitely bourbon. Okay, now forget the age-old question: is Tennessee whiskey bourbon? This is bourbon. But what's interesting for me, I kept drinking. Again, I'll go back to that day I was.
You go back. The nose is all oak.
See, you're right. Yeah, definitely a wood hint on the nose for sure. Now yeah. Oh, this is really nice. But I go back to that day I was in Nashville and I'm drinking Tennessee whiskey, not bourbon, Tennessee whiskey. I think it was the Belle Meade brand Tennessee whiskey. I wanted to try it.
It's pretty popular around here.
And I tried it. I'm like, that's not bad. I can see why people like this. It's comparable to Jack Daniels. I get it. I like it. Not bad. I had one. And then again, that guy bought me drinks for the next 3 hours. So I drank it for the next 3 hours. Got accustomed to it. That, I can taste that in this. So there is definitely something to Tennessee whiskey and apparently bourbon made in Tennessee. This is really nice. This has the qualities that was missing. The Tennessee whiskey I was drinking was missing. This bourbon has what I wanted. It has a little more bite. It's got a little more complexity. There's a lot more going on here. So I like it a lot compared to just a standard Tennessee whiskey. This is nice. This is very nice.
Yeah, so I completely agree. I actually poured a little bit more just to dab a little bit of water in there. It's not that it needed the water. I just like to try it out every now and then.
Sure, you're right. Yeah.
It doesn't really change much of the nose, though.
Okay. So we do scale these things on a few different levels. First off, as a bourbon, as a whiskey, as a cask-aged spirit.
Sorry. Stop. Put a little water in that. It's straight butter biscuit.
Really?
Oh. Just a dab.
Okay.
It's breakfast.
Oh, yeah.
I want to cook up some eggs and bacon and drink this.
Oh, God, you're right. Oh, my God. Oh, you weren't kidding.
That's beautiful.
That opens up a lot. I'm glad I did that. Oh, yeah, that's going to help a lot. Okay.
Sorry, I wouldn't have interrupted that if it wasn't important. That's amazing.
That is good. Wow. I usually don't even bother anymore with trying to open up whiskeys with water because
I try it with all of them now. After we did the original Heaven's Door or the Heaven's Door store pick, after that I was like, holy shit, this is real. This is a real thing.
True.
I don't know how many times prior to that I had tried to drop like just a little tiny bit of ice or a little drop of water.
It is easy to dismiss whiskey.
So many of them.
Wow. That's good.
Really good with just a splash.
So we are going to grade this on a few different scales. As a bourbon, as a whiskey, as a cask-aged spirit, its shelving, and, of course, the ever-popular question, the secret question. So, first and foremost, as a bourbon chicken, how would you grade this on a 5-star scale? Those of you who do not know, we grade things around here on a 5-star scale. 1 being, by all means, pass it by. This is nothing to write home about. You're not going to miss out at all if you don't decide to buy this whiskey. 5 being, my God, before you kick the bucket, you better have at least 6, 7, 8 bottles of this bitch.
As a bourbon, on a 5-star scale, this is tough because this is really good, but then I'm like, looking, what am I going to compare this to that's already up around that top shelf and things that I've already given a 4 to? It's close, folks.
Wow.
It's really close. 3.75.
3.75 as a bourbon. Okay. I'll be frank, as a bourbon, this, again, I got familiar with some Tennessee whiskey while I was in Nashville. They make plenty of it there, and it's readily available. And I'll be frank, when it came to bourbon, if I wanted something like good bourbon, like I drank Maker's 46, you know, they only had Maker's Mark. If I wanted Buffalo Trace, or if I wanted Blanton's, they had Buffalo Trace. So we're talking entry-level bourbon, and it was generally entry-level Tennessee whiskey in most of the bars you'd go into. Again, that Belle Meade Tennessee whiskey was good, and this reminds me a lot of that. So as a bourbon, I'm only going to go 3.5.
Okay.
But as a whiskey, I'm happily prepared to give this 4 stars.
I agree. The vanilla notes, the oak, this is classic. You can mix so much. You can do neat. You can do all kinds of cocktails. Like, this is fucking great.
This is the delicious whiskey. Vanilla, butter, and sweetness. And the ABV is not intrusive. This is super drinkable. This is cocktailable. This is affordable.
You can do this over ice, obviously. Like,
I think this would be good on ice. I think this is a affordable one too, if I'm not mistaken. This is a really, really good whiskey. Really, really nice. As a cask-aged spirit, how would you go on this?
Because
I don't believe it has an age statement
on the box. Says won a couple of medals. They all do. Don't see
aged
any age
in
statements.
new American oak barrels for a smooth blend with notes of vanilla, baked bread layers over rich toasted oak. So yeah, we kind of hit that on the head. But no, it does not offer any age statements. So we are left to guess. I'm guessing we're looking at probably like 5-6 years, right?
I'd guess. I'll go. I'll be fair to it. It's pretty dang good. It's not the best cask age, you'll find. But for just a baseline bourbon, it's pretty damn good. I'll give it 3.5.
As a cask age, I'm gonna go 3 1/4. It's definitely good. It is, as a cask age. This is just.
There's a lot of competition,
it's just
so I get it.
A ton of competition, so it's harder to grade on that scale. It doesn't stand out from the pack in the cask age, but yeah, definitely solid. Now we move on to its shelving. Where would you put this? Top, middle, or bottom?
This is going to be a solid middle shelf for me. It doesn't have enough to go to the top. Like, it's not enough complexity there.
Yeah.
It's as good. It's interesting enough to like make me go, wow, like that has a in the bottle. Even with this little guy, it's kind of cool.
Yeah, the presentation is nice.
Yeah, presentation's nice. Great bottle. It's using a real cork. I love everything about what Bob Dylan's doing here.
Yeah. I kind of agree. Like, I was prepared for this to be a bottom shelf, but the presentation's nice, the palate's nice, the story's good. Like, this is a middle shelf whiskey.
Open your damn distillery.
Yeah, let me come tour it. I just maybe I caught him on an off day. I don't know, but this was
COVID. We'll just blame it on COVID.
Yep, COVID.
Add that tag to the video.
This is beautiful. No, I am surprised. I honestly I was expecting to be a little disappointed after we tried the single barrel store pick, because this had a lot going on. It was a high proof, and comparatively,
kind of sets the bar high. Yeah,
it did. This is almost 62 ABV compared to, good God, 46. So huge jump. I didn't know what to expect. I expected this to be a bottom shelf, but initially, with the Tennessee whiskey flavor, what the bourbon took over, that definitely moved it up, and it finishes so nice. This is super drinkable. Middle shelf for sure. Now, the secret, fifth and final question. When this bottle, this 200 milliliter bottle that you and I both have, runs empty, would you seek another sampler pack? Would you seek another full 750 or liter bottle? Or would you pass it by?
So for sampler pack, I don't know yet, because we have 2 more to try.
Good point.
For this individually, the way I think about this one, if I seen it for $45 or less for a full-size bottle, 750 milliliter, yeah, I'll grab it.
That's kind of where I'm at. Like, I'm thinking, like, this is a really, really
like,
nice
I compare
bourbon.
this to Michter's bourbon. Like,
I think this is a little more complex than Michter's.
I think it is too, but like, I won't pay $45 for Michter's, but I'll pay $45 for this.
Yeah, if it came down to those two, I'm obviously going to pick this. I'd probably look for this on a sale first and foremost. I've got plenty of bourbon.
I'll pay $45 though.
I mean, I've got a little bit here.
It's worth it.
Got this bottle. When this bottle's empty, I'm probably going to look for it on special first. If I can't find it on a deal, then yeah, I'm probably just going to go ahead and buy standard bottle, because this is really good. It's not standard Kentucky bourbon, and you know what? I've got a lot of Kentucky bourbon, so might as well open up the floodgates. This is really good. I'm pleasantly surprised.
Yeah.
So, Heaven's Door straight bourbon whiskey. Pretty flabbergasted at how well you scored tonight. I did not expect to be blown away.
Bravo.
This definitely has the flavor of Tennessee, but it's got the feel of America when it comes to a bourbon. And this definitely surpassed the expectations I think both of us had.
We are going to get into the next in the line of the Heaven's Door offerings. The principal line, if you will. We've got the American Bourbon Whiskey, which you've just recently watched that video, and if you haven't, what the fuck are you doing here? We've got the one we'll be getting into tonight, the Double Barrel, right there in the middle. Yes, Double Barrel Whiskey. And then, at some point soon, watch out this side for the rye. But tonight, we are getting into the Double barrel whiskey. Now, neither of us have had this yet, and before, I feel like it's only appropriate because I have not dipped into this bottle since we did the review, and it's been a little bit, so I wanted to revisit it real quick.
Okay, let me grab mine.
I think it's only fair
So,
to the original. Yes.
straight bourbon.
Yeah, it's got a very familiar nose in terms of bourbon. A little bit of sweet heat maybe, but nice and oaky. Nothing
Definitely
fancy on the nose.
Vanilla.
Oh, very vanilla forward on the flavor.
Oh yeah.
And super oaky, but in a really
Very
good way.
bourbon. Very standard bourbon. Really good.
Yeah, like you can't really go wrong. Like this is kind of what if you want to give somebody a really good example of what bourbon is, that's it right there. Like that is bourbon to a T, and it's not even from Kentucky.
On the money.
Those of you that do not know, Heaven's Door is from Nashville, Tennessee, and in honor of that, for my Nashville Country Music Hall of Fame hat. That is really good though. You really can't go wrong with this one. I know people are skeptical because it's not a Kentucky product, but it's really nice. It's a really, really solid bourbon. But let's see how its slightly different counterpart stacks up.
So this technically isn't a bourbon, is kind of what we're finding out.
I didn't realize that until just tonight. Now,
It literally says double barrel whiskey.
Yeah, this says double barrel whiskey, and nowhere on the bottle does it say bourbon. This is a 50%, 100 proof, whereas the straight bourbon whiskey is 46 and 92 proof. So,
do you think it's the mash bill? Because the proof's high enough. Yeah. Well, I'm guessing it's the mash bill.
So in the back of this nifty sampler, the straight bourbon whiskey description is aged in new American oak barrels for a smooth blend with notes of vanilla and baked bread layered over rich toasted oak. Boy, we nailed that. And the double barrel whiskey, complexity of secondary aging, comprised of a unique blend of 3 different whiskeys. The finishing process utilizes hand-toasted new American oak barrels for a secondary aging worthy of another year's wait. So this is more of a blend, which is why it's just...
So it's a blend, and they did not specifically say they were new American in the original. Like it says it's a double barrel, so did they blend them together in one barrel and then move them to new oak?
Well, that is a good question. It said the finishing process utilizes hand-toasted new American oak barrels for secondary aging. So yeah, it doesn't really...
Because folks, to be bourbon, it has to be new American casks. It has to be over 40% alcohol by volume. Like there's specific rules to this. So, and then it's what, 51% corn? Am I?
Yeah, I believe
something like that.
51. So yeah, I guess
they broke one of the rules.
They broke one of the first rules of Fight Club.
Yeah, they can't call it bourbon.
And there are still people out there that think bourbon can only come from Kentucky, which is not the case. Obviously, this is a Kentucky neighbor coming from Tennessee, but as long as the mash bill fits and the proof is right, all American whiskey can be bourbon. It just has to meet the right requirements. All bourbon is whiskey, not all whiskey is bourbon.
Yep, exactly. Most Tennessee whiskey can be classified as bourbon.
Specifically Jack Daniels, but that's neither here.
Are you gonna appeal the? I know people haven't seen the court case yet. We did have a court case with the jury. We'll get to that video eventually.
There will be an appeal because it was kind of it was kind of like a late midnight style shotgun wedding scenario, trial by shotgun type of thing. And I wasn't really prepared because, you know, these ambush things that KOE likes to do, it's the only way he can win an argument because that's his style. You know, I still presented a better case, but ultimately biases and under the table handshakes with $100 bills gave him a different outcome than I anticipated.
Anyway, let's get on to this bottle.
Yeah, it's not like I'm sore about this or anything, but this is a bourbon. Could have been, but blended. So now it is an American whiskey. We are not going to call this bourbon for the remainder of the review. So it is nice in this triple pack. You've got a bourbon, you've got a blended American whiskey, and then there is a rye. So you do kind of go across the board with this stuff.
Ready?
Are you ready for the cork?
3, 2, 1.
Ooh,
It's pretty good.
not bad at all. And these are real corks, which is nice. And these little 200 milliliter bottles are just fantastic. I really like these.
All right.
They present really nicely in the front row of your shelf because
Yeah,
sometimes they get a little deep.
it's nice to put them in front of your ugly bottles.
Yes.
Yes.
And these are actually pretty handsome bottles.
Mm.
I really do like the design.
All right. The nose right away, I do get it. It's kind of rye-ish.
I was gonna say, I wonder immediately, are these the blends? Are we looking at the two right here
Maybe.
that were, composed to make this?
I get like, it's not like heavy mouthwash, but it's kind of that mouthwash smell.
I would never guess, just on the smell alone, that this is 100 proof.
It's
Wow,
sweet. It's sweet
It is.
and minty.
It is. It's a sweet mint. You're right. Like, yeah, you're right. Mouthwash. Not like a Listerine, but more like a Scope. Listerine's a lot more harsh. This is very inviting. This definitely wouldn't be Phil's favorite just based off the smell alone because of the mint.
Yeah,
But-
for sure.
I really like it. The nose is pretty nice. I'll be honest. This has a less intimidating nose than the 46% ABV bourbon, and it's higher at 50.
You get in a little deeper on that nose and do it so lightly, you get a little caramel.
Okay, let's see. Okay, yeah, there's a thick sweetness there. It's not molasses, so yeah, caramel would be. Yeah, you're right. It's there. It is there, buried underneath the mint.
And it's got
Maybe
legs.
if it breathes a little.
Look
bit.
at that. It's got legs, baby.
Oh yeah, yeah. I remember the other one having nice legs too. This is no different.
All right.
Very nice. Yeah, I'm ready. Cheers. Oh, there's a caramel. But the mint is on top of it. Oh, wow. That finish. Raspberries.
Yeah, it's fruity. I don't
Wow.
get raspberries. It's fruity though. I get the mint. I don't get so
Wow.
much. There's a little oak on the back end, but it's not heavy.
This is going to be an experiment for another time, but once we've
I'm
had
gonna
all
have to
three
do
of these
another.
open, I think I'm going to try this side by side with the bourbon and the rye blended together because I think that's exactly what we're looking at here. That reminds me so much of a bourbon on the front, but the finish is a lot more reminiscent of a rye.
The mint comes through too much for me.
I'm a fan of mint. I like it, but it's definitely going to be
I
overpowered.
think it's getting in the way though. There's so much more here.
I agree. I think it's just a little too much mint. But I mean, it's very pleasant. It's very refreshing.
Because I'm a
Right with a drop.
Yep. Ooh, a little too much there. Just need a drop or two.
There we go. Yeah. let's
Trying
try
not to
that.
spill water all over my electronics here.
Doesn't really change the nose. Yeah,
No.
a little more grassy, maybe a little more lemony. Yeah, I think there's a rye in this for sure.
Okay, that did change it. Mm. There we go. That's
Hmm.
better. That's better. Okay.
It did dilute the mint.
Mm-hmm. What is this?
I'm-
Now you mentioned
I still get
lemongrass on
raspberry.
the. You mentioned like lemongrass on the nose.
Yeah.
The
It reminds
fruit-
me.
The mint goes away. The fruit starts coming out. It's like a tart, like more of a like a tarty fruit to me.
A raspberry.
No, more tart. Like a
Um,
what are those trees?
blackberry.
No, there's a berry
Oh,
tree. The fuck are those called?
I know what you're talking about. Damn.
They're in
That's gonna-
bushes. They're in trees.
Yeah. Not a cranberry.
No. Mulberry.
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 There you go. There you go.
I get
I get-
mulberry. Like mulberry has that mint flavor already, like especially when they're like the lighter color, the greener and the whiter ones. And when
Yeah.
you get the darker ones, you get the more deep fruits and the more raspberry flavors out of a mulberry. This to me is like a mix of mulberries. If you
Okay.
like mashed them together, you get the tart and you get the sweet, you get the good mix. I love it with a dab of water. This is good.
Yeah, this is really good. Cut just slightly. I said lemongrass because the first thing that came to mind was.
Oh, I
the
get the
rye.
lemongrass for sure.
That's why I'm like,
It's on the
Something about
nose big time.
yeah, something about this just screams bullet rye to me.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm betting that these are very close. These two here, the bourbon and the rye, are very close to what this blend is. Very interesting. I'm a fan. It's a lot more interesting than the bourbon.
Exactly. So that's what's kind of cool about this. So this is not a bourbon. This is a double oak whiskey. And it's more complex and kind of fun to play with. Now, I think this would make a really fucking great old fashioned.
Yeah, this would. Just a little more taste.
You mix that with like the orange peel with that already kind of like tart fruitiness in there.
There
I
you
think
go.
it would just open it up a lot more. I think as an old fashioned, this would be a go-to for an old fashioned. This would be fantastic.
I think you're onto something there. This would cocktail pretty nicely. So, on that regard, we're going to grade this on a few different scales. Now, it's not bourbon, so we're going to grade this as a whiskey, obviously, as a blended whiskey, since it is technically a blend, as a cask aged spirit, its shelving, and another question. So, let's start with blended whiskey, because this covers a lot of ground. We're talking blended Scotches, blended Irish, blended bourbon, blended American. So, where would you rank this as a blended whiskey?
As a blended whiskey, I'm gonna say this is really like, because I like the natural flavor of bourbons and like good. I'm gonna give this 4 stars as a blended.
Wow.
We've had a lot of blended whiskeys, like TX, for example. Like it serves its purpose. It's really hard to cocktail it though, because it's so specific. This isn't specific. Like as a blended whiskey, you can do whatever the fuck you want with this. This is actually fucking fantastic as a blended whiskey.
I didn't mention before, but we do grade on a 1 to 5 star scale here at the K.O.E. Nation. 1 meaning you can pass this one by. 5 meaning you must try this whiskey. I was actually going to go a little bit lower, but you're right. It's more interesting. You could do a little bit more with this. It would present some really nice cocktails. It's not basic bitch at all. But I'm going to go 3 as a blended whiskey, because I've had some really incredible blended whiskeys that just didn't deserve being as good as they are. And I think they've got something here. They just need to tweak it just a little bit, because I usually don't like to have to add water to make it more interesting, and I think that is kind of a must.
It was too
minty. It's a must with this one. So I'm going to go 3 as a blended. Now, as a whiskey, I'm going to be a little bit more generous, and I'm going to go 3.75 easily. I could almost go 4, because this is right up my alley, but I know this is not going to be exactly everybody's cup of tea with the mint, so I'm going to be I'll be more honest, 3.75.
I'm right there with you for many of those reasons. Unless you this okay, I'll go 375 because if you don't know to like tamper this down a little bit. So no, as a whiskey, I'll agree with you at 375. Because if you don't know how to tame this down, I could see how a lot of people would get that mint, like you mentioned right away.
Yeah.
Phil's not gonna like this just because of the mint right away. But when you do the dab of water, wow, it opens up. So I can
this
see
one would
some
go
people,
on ice.
Yeah, some people wouldn't get this right away, but on ice, again, cocktailing. I think this is a fucking amazing cocktail whiskey. Personally.
Yeah, I got to agree. There's no age statement on this, so it does make it difficult.
I did look it up. 6 years minimum.
6 year minimum. Okay.
Let me pull back up what they have on Heaven's.
Yeah,
Door's
because that
website here.
does make a difference. I would have guessed a minimum of 4, but actually that's a little more impressive with 6 years.
So here's what they say on their website: double barrel whiskey, placing our already 6-year whiskey in an alligator charred New American oak. Deepens the color and fills our whiskey with flavors of dark toasted vanilla, which we didn't quite get that.
Not a ton of vanilla. No, I didn't.
The finish product come out so smooth we increase the bottling proof to 100. It doesn't say their mash bill. It just says 6 years. The nose, they claim maple with milled grains and light nuttiness. I don't know if I get the maple. I get the grains. I get the nuttiness.
See the maple, not so much the nutty. Yeah, because there was a sweetness there on the nose.
Yeah,
you were thinking caramel.
Dried berries. We both talked about the fruitiness.
There you go.
Vanilla custard. What the fuck is vanilla custard?
Ooh, okay. I could see that. Hang on. Yeah.
What is a vanilla custard? Are
It'd be kind of like
a frozen fucking food?
Well, okay. So like if you go to like McDonald's, you get like a holiday pie that's filled with vanilla custard. So it's kind of like a pudding, but it's more like a cross between pudding and yogurt. And I can definitely see it. And I think that's why I like that sweetness so much. Yeah, I can see that. Okay. Okay.
It does mention vanilla bean, apricot. I definitely, when I hear apricot, I definitely get that. Cream, caramel, coconut backed by orange oils and cocoa. Maybe that's why I'm like feeling the fucking the orange peel want. Like I want to add more.
Okay.
Butterscotch, which I kind of get. Like after it says that, yeah. Woody overtones. There is a little oak on the back end. It's nothing major though. So they're not too far off on their description. There's a few things.
I think they've got a good blend here, and
it is
for being minimum 6 years. I think that does help it a lot. That description does. Yeah. I'm again gonna go 375 as a cast because I think they've got something pretty good here. But this is, remember, a distillery that's still fairly young, so there is still room for improvement. This isn't like a tried and true formula just yet. They can still play with this a little bit. And the fun thing about this is we know how damn impressive their store pick bourbons with even higher proofs and more caramel can be. So this is a company that's definitely still got some improvement, and this is a really good start for a product like this. So yeah, I'm going to stay with 375 on this.
For a cast strength, 375. I'm going to go back up to 4.
Hey,
it's only 6 year, and this is more complex than their actual bourbon. I don't know what else I have to say.
I can't disagree with that.
Oh,
so
no, after you finish. Oh,
yeah.
Nose.
It is really nice.
It's nice.
As where are we? Okay, so shelving. I'm gonna say this is easily a middle shelf for me. I would put the store picks above it for sure. So I'm gonna say middle shelf.
I agree, middle shelf. but it's a sleeper. This is one of those middle shelf surprisers that, like, especially we got the sample size bottle, so this would be one of those fun ones when, you know, somebody's like wanting something on your top shelf and you're not sure you want to give it to them. You'd be like, try this first and see if they can taste the complexities in there, and then do the dab of water, have some fun with it. And then if they were like stoked and excited, now they graduated to top shelf. I think this is a qualifier whiskey to get to your top shelf. This is fucking great because it's going to blow their mind on bourbon versus whiskey, and what, like, it doesn't always have to be bourbon.
I like that. That's a great way to put it. Now, the secret fifth question. When your sample size is finished, has this sampler convinced you to buy a full 750 milliliter bottle?
I believe the cost is $50. Would I pay?
I believe you're right.
$50 for a 750 of this? Yes. In a heartbeat, I would. As soon as I see this, I'm buying a 750.
Yeah, I think I would too. This is just one of those really interesting. And there's nothing else like this that I can think of off the top of my head on my shelf. Like I had glimpses of other whiskeys, but nothing that 100% compares to this. And I like to have a variety, and this is definitely one that kind of stands on its own. So yeah, I think I would pick up a bottle of this for sure.
And I think it stacks up to a lot of bourbons, and people might select this over a lot of popular name bourbons.
True. You could put this in a blind flight, and I think it would hold its own in a flight of bourbon. So I'm a fan. Heaven's Door, you've done it again, and you're not even
done it again.
So we salute you, Heaven's Door, and we will be back one more time at least. And we are here to do the third installment of the Heaven's Door Trilogy Pack, their principal line. We've done the straight bourbon whiskey. We've done the double barrel whiskey. And it's finally time to do the rye whiskey, which we know is Chicken's favorite kind of whiskey.
Yeah, nowadays, totally. Yeah, after you guys ruined me on bourbons and everything else. Yeah, I used to be a rye guy. Now I'm like, fucking.
Isn't the journey of whiskey fun? Because I started as a huge Irish guy. Phil started as a blended Canadian guy. You liked pretty simple, straightforward ryes. When we really started getting into it, Scotch changed the game for me. And once I had got into Scotch, then Phil started getting deep into bourbon, and I followed suit. And then I really got into rye. And damn it, I love fucking rye. I love it so much. Honestly,
there's some
50% of the time I drink whiskey, I'm drinking rye.
Out of the 50 different ryes, there's like 5 amazing ones.
It is fun to get through.
There's 5 amazing, 5 really good, and the rest are like, eh.
Yeah, the bottom of the barrel for me is like pretty much anything from Jack Daniels. It's just dog shit. I wasn't blown away by like the standard Jim Beam rye. It's all right. It's okay. The Old Forester rye, that's kind of in the middle for me. A lot of people swear by it, but it was all right. For me, I love me a Wild Turkey 101 rye, the Rare Breed rye, Rabbit Hole rye, Michter's rye is way the hell up there. Bullet rye is incredible. Pendleton's a nice, soft, subtle, beautiful rye. There's a lot of really, really nice ones, but you got to get through some really, really bad ones. So we're here today for science to find out
if Heaven's Door is on the bad list.
Which side is it going to go? Because it's really either here or it's there, folks. Is it good? Is it bad? But we have got straight rye whiskey. Oh, I didn't notice this before. Not exactly sure what this means, but finished in, how do you pronounce this? Vosges oak barrels? Look this up. What does this mean? I'm going to read the back of this. Look up
Vosges?
I don't know the significance of this. I'm not familiar with the term. Look that up. I'm going to read the box.
Okay.
Since I've still got mine. Straight rye whiskey, finished in, hope you can give me the pronunciation of that, oak. Hand-toasted oak cigar barrels. Maybe that's what that means. From Ah, okay. So Vosges, France. There. It's a cigar company. Holy shit.
Oh,
This
cool.
we might be in for a real treat here. Hand toasted oak cigar barrels from Vosges, France. Give our straight rye whiskey notes of. I'm not gonna read the rest. Of that. I'm not gonna read the rest.
Not gonna give it away.
Yeah. I don't want to
Um,
fuck the dog on this.
Yeah. All right, let's
So
open this
Vosges,
bitch up.
France.
Let's just
cigar
get into
company.
it. Let's quit fucking around.
All right. Plastic is
Right.
off. Here we go. Count us down.
3, 2, 1.
Ooh, yeah.
It's
I have
good.
not been disappointed yet, and maybe it's the 200 milliliter.
Oh my
but,
God.
these are really nice.
That's pretty sweet. Just right out of the bottle.
Oh wow, it is. Man, they might have something really special here.
All right.
Vosges, France. Okay. Hand toasted oak cigar barrels from Vosges, France. This I've got high expectations now. I really do. What kind of legs has this bad bitch got? Oh yes, it
Yeah,
does.
compared to the prior ones, it's not as thick as the last ones, but it's still there.
No, yeah, it's still there. That is a nice feature of their principal line. It is a little thinner. Now this is a 46 ABV, 92 proof, so it's a little lower than the blended. the double
92.
oil.
Okay. I get
Or rather.
there's spice in there and citrus.
Now, we'd speculated before that the
A
double,
lemon and pepper seasoning.
Yeah, we speculated before that the double barrel probably had a blend of the straight bourbon and the straight rye. I'm wondering if the rye that's in this I'm wondering if the rye that's in the double barrel is just not finished in this specific cask, and this just gets the straight regular rye without any extra finishing. But this, it's got some oak, it's got some dark baker's chocolate.
I get the oak for sure. I don't get the oak. I get more of like a gum. Like it's not mouthwash, it's like gum. There's citrus, there's oak, and
Yes.
and there's another fruit in there too.
It's not banana, but it's
Oh, it's tart. It's tart. Apple? Yeah, there's an apple.
maybe like a honeydew,
Like a green apple.
yeah, like a Granny Smith.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
yeah, I'm
exactly.
with you.
Yeah.
I'm with you.
All right, let's
Yeah, you're right. Orchard fruit. All right. Oh yeah, apple. Baked apple. Oh wow. Oh wow.
Oh my, that is a lot going on there.
Wow. Baked apple for sure. Wow.
Black pepper.
Yeah. Heavy black pepper. Like fresh ground black pepper finish. Wow,
It's
that's
like a-
nice.
Hmm.
That is to me. That is like if you took a slice of apple pie and put
There's
black pepper on top
vanilla.
of it.
There's vanilla in there.
There is. Yeah, vanilla extract for me.
Mm.
Now I'm going back to the nose. A lot.
There's
way more vanilla on the front, on the nose.
Oh yeah,
Wow,
you pick it
that.
up. There's like there's a lot of different flavors here. I get like more of a grassy, like I don't want to say like normal grass, like it's a flavored like it's a flavored green. It's not a grass. It's like a leafy fucking citrusy type.
I hate to keep saying lemongrass, but
It's not a lemongrass, but it's similar. Like I can't put my
Similar, yeah.
finger on what it is.
it doesn't have that bullet trademark lemongrass rye taste. But there is
Yeah.
something there.
It's something.
I think it's the mix with the fresh apple baked taste and the pepper.
You know, I didn't get the apple until just now. Now the apple flavor's coming. I had it on the nose, but now the flavor, the apple pie, I get it.
That was the first thing I got on the first taste, and that finish was just heavy black pepper.
If you
I'm
just
really liking this.
if you just let it sit, it kind of tastes like you just finished eating a snickerdoodle.
Ooh, I like that. So we got some cinnamon then.
It's like it's like that cinnamon cookie.
Okay. So yeah, like a baked flour type dessert. Okay. Okay. Well, let's see here. Let me read the back one more time. Hand toasted oak cigar barrels, which I can see that with the tobacco.
I don't get cigar at all.
I see what they're saying. Maybe not specifically tobacco. Maybe more of a leathery. Like, do you remember like the first time you tried Elmer T. Lee? You get that leathery.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I
don't get that.
I get that just a little bit. I mean, it's not overwhelming, but a little bit. Straight rye whiskey, notes of orange peel, coriander, and spice for a more approachable sip. Coriander.
I don't know if coriander was what I was going at.
I would not have said that, but I'll add that to the repertoire of words I use to describe shit now.
Coriander's more like a tame cilantro, isn't it?
I think so. So yeah, I guess maybe that could be like the green that you're trying to pick out from the.
It's more flavor.
Lemongrass.
Well, I guess okay. I could see where coriander could be. I don't think that's it, but this is good.
I'm really liking this, and trust me, there's some really bad rye out there. I'm going to say now, this is definitely on the right side of rye.
All right, let me pulling up on their website here as we did with the last one. Age at least 7 years.
Oh, 7. Oh shit, that was way too much.
The nose, herbaceous. I'm not even sure what the fuck that's supposed to be. Spearmint, oak, apple, and citrus.
Spearmint makes sense.
We got some of those spearmint. I'm not sure if I quite.
No, okay. See that? Oh, there it is. There it is. That's it. Spearmint. I'm going back to high school now.
Yeah, it's there.
With spearmint, skull, chewing tobacco. That's
there.
the tobacco. That's why I was thinking tobacco.
Yeah. The palate, honey-coated marzipan. Holy shit, how crazy are you going to get with that? I don't get honey. I don't even know what marzipan tastes like.
Add a drop of water, you'll get the honey. Oh my god.
Okay.
Drop of water.
I'll hit that in a second. And then it also says fresh cut grass. Fennel! Fennel!
There you go.
There's my fucking goddamn... and then it says dill, which actually, dill and clove. It says clove next, cinnamon.
Okay.
I'm tasting fennel, dill, clove, like all together. Okay. Cinnamon, we called it. Black pepper, we called it. Orange peel, we called it. Chamomile and cedar.
Okay. Okay. I guess, yeah, it does kind of have a lotion adjacent type nose, kind of, if you really get deep into it.
It says vanilla toffee. I don't even know.
I don't get a lot of toffee.
I got a little vanilla, just a little bit. At the beginning, it went away though. It says wet
I'm not
wood.
vibing any toffee.
It says wet wood, chocolate cookies, and a hint of mango and a dash of what the fuck is white pepper?
Well, you know, it's the end of black pepper.
Sorry, nobody's ever had white pepper. Fuck off.
That's salt. That's salt, folks.
Okay, it just added
Phil's
the water.
Phil's gonna cut in right here. It's gonna cut, and Phil's gonna pop up. You uncultured swine! I have.
This is white pepper, you son of a bitch.
This is what white pepper is. I have a Costco membership.
I put the water in that made the nose horrible. It's just like spearmint ethanol now.
Yeah, it kind of screwed up the nose a little, but I really like the taste of the water. The honey's a lot more forward on the front. It dilutes that black pepper finish quite a bit.
It does get rid of the black pepper almost completely.
Which I don't mind, so I think I would drink this neat with no drop of water, no ice.
Yeah, I like it without water. This is fine the way it was.
It's definitely sweeter. It's definitely sweeter.
This is a it's not totally different, but it's different enough to where it wasn't as fun as it was before.
So, those of you new to the KOE Nation, we grade on a 1 to 5 star scale. 1 meaning this is not going to be a whiskey that you need to rush out and pick up by any means. Don't even bother to try it. 5 meaning, good God Almighty, you must try this whiskey before you kick the bucket, folks. This is tremendous. So, we will grade on a 1 to 5 star scale. We will grade this as a rye, as a whiskey, as a cask-aged spirit, its shelving, and the secret 5th question. So, let us start. It's a rye. We got to start as a rye. 1 to 5 stars.
I'm gonna go 4 stars as a rye. This is up there with some
Read
of my
my
favorite
mind.
ryes. I'm glad I drank most of it without water. Don't add water. This is fantastic the way it is, straight out of the bottle. This shit is very, very good. It's actually, for a rye, fairly complex, and you can still cocktail some shit with this. You could have some fun with this. Again, Heaven's Doors made some good shit that you can not only cocktail with, you can drink neat, or you can put over ice. This one I wouldn't recommend necessarily over ice. But again, this is another one that I would say old-fashioned because of the orange peel. Some of the grassier flavors in there would mix really, really well with the bitters. And this would be fine.
I'm right there with you at 4 because I like honey, and the water definitely brought out the sweetness for me and kind of crushed the pepper for people who might not like that. But I loved that fresh baked apple pie taste, the black pepper finish. So yeah, for me, this is neat all the way. And it reminded me specifically of 2 of my favorite ryes, Michter's and Bullet. So yeah, it's not as good as a Michter's in terms like the orchard fruit. And I think I like the lemongrass of the Bullet just a little bit better than the green flavors here. But the fact that this was able to remind me of both of those and be different at the same time, fuck yeah,
absolutely.
4 stars. I love it. So, as a rye, we both give it 4. Let us move on to whiskey. This is whiskey in general. This is going against all the heavy hitters of whiskey. Where would this rank?
3.5. It stacks up against a lot. Cocktailing whites is great. It is a rye. It is fairly complex, but there's a lot more complex shit out there.
I think I'm going to go just a straight 3 as a whiskey because while there is cocktailing capability here, I think the fact that diluting it with water made you go from loving it to going,
You know what? You're right. 3.25 because of that. Like, if it can't stay, I think that's why I gave the double barrel as high of a whiskey score as I did, is because like, it was fun. You could play with it. There was a lot. This you can't play with. Like, you can cocktail it, but like as neat and on ice, it's not the same. So yeah, 3.25. I'll lower mine.
So the notes I have for the rest of this we'll use in the cask-aged spirit category. Now, I was going to say, just a second ago, the fact that this is already 46 ABV, it's only 92 proof, so adding water really did dilute this quite a bit. But drinking it straight with its 92 proof, we loved it.
It's perfect.
I can only imagine what something cask strength would taste like from this, because obviously this has been diluted slightly and it's still really good. Diluting it further brings it down a few steps. So I would really, really like to try this cask strength. But what did you say the age requirement was?
7 years was the minimum.
7 years. Okay. So this has got a pretty good age statement especially
for a rye. A rye, 7-year rye is good.
Yeah, I'm surprised they don't boast about that on the bottle anywhere. But I'm gonna go 3.75. I think they've really got something here. I would definitely give this 4 or higher, I think, if this were a little higher on the proof.
I'm going to go 3.5, and I agree with you. Cast strength, Heaven's Hill, rye needs to happen. Bob Dylan, if you're watching, like that, this is great stuff. For a rye whiskey, this is like, this stacks up with some of the greats of the rye whiskey. It did make it into this recent rye tournament, but next round,
it'll be in the next.
If you have a cast strength, it could be the rye of extreme. Just saying,
man, that's true. This is really nice stuff. So, where would you put this in terms of shelving?
It's similar to the double barrel. This is my your passing rights to get to the top shelf.
Okay.
This is a middle shelf, but only if you want to drink something on the top shelf. You got to try this first and tell me what you think of it. And if you can describe it to me, then you can drink a top shelf.
Yeah, I think I would give, like, this drink's, I think this is a little, I don't want to say harsher, but I think this drink's a little heavier than the proof actually is. So I think, for me, it's going to be a middle. But yeah, you're right. Like, this could be something you would try before you go,
rite
this is my
of
top
passage.
shelf. I like that. A rite of passage. I like it. I like it. So, in that regard, the secret fifth question, once our 200 milliliter bottles go dry, will we seek out a 750? Will we seek out another bottle?
Yes.
Fuck yes. I'm loving this.
Absolutely. This is good stuff. Way to go, Bob Dylan.
Yeah. He found
3
the right
for
place.
3.
Yeah, I'm loving it. Like, this is going to be one of those ryes that I keep on hand all the time. I'm figuring out which ryes I'd like to have on my shelf all the time, and this is going to be one of them. I'm loving it. So, yeah, this is absolutely fantastic. I'm actually eager to have Phil try this one. So, yeah, and now that we have tried the 3, I'm going to have to try a little experiment at some point and try the rye with the bourbon and see just how close to that double barrel.
Are we going to have to do a versus, and then pull out the store pick one more time?
I think we'll have to do kind of a handicap match.
Like a fatal 4-way?
Well, I'm thinking the rye and the bourbon together in one glass, handicap style, against the double barrel.
Think how many combos we could do.
There's a lot of combos we could do. Heaven's Door's got some really nice store picks out there, folks. So if you like what you heard here from any of these, definitely check them out. But definitely, and I can't stress this enough, pick up a store pick as well, because it is lovely, lovely stuff. And it's usually pretty high proof, so you can get creative with it. But I think that's going to do it for us in terms of the review. So yeah, 3 for 3 on the Trilogy Pack. Heaven's Door, you've done it again. Ah, mine didn't go. Oh, mine was weak. There we go. Clinky.
Itself out.
Get back. Tell you what I'll do. If I ever get back, I promise to refabricate you. Raging rivers of gold. That's what the brochure advertised. And now we're lost, we gotta take it down. Let you down slow, it's hard to survive.
Nice.
El Dorado. Oh, Lord. Well, let's see how that one went.
Yeah.